let's get it going. Well, a little late compared to when I set it to start. I had to finish making a short. I got a funny short for later. uh, all right. What do we got for today? We're in Genesis 19. We're going to learn. We learned a little bit about Sodom and Gomorrah yesterday. We're going to learn more about it today. Did I spell it right in the title? Gamorrah. Gamorrah. Verse 28. We're going to learn about Sodom and Gomorrah. And then Abraham and Isaac. We're going to get into Abraham and Isaac. Probably a little bit of chapters are getting big. Probably a little bit of Rebecca and Isaac, which tomorrow will leave us at Jacob and Esau, which I just did a show on the Jacob and Esau story not too long ago. So that'll be fresh in everybody's memory. Hola, Esau. But today, Sodom and Gomorrah. I know there's somebody that needs to hear this from my chat. They're probably not in there right now, though. But let's just get right into this. We're a little early today. We go for 2 hours. We could probably get pretty far into this. There's only 50 chapters in Genesis. The chapters are getting longer. This is a long chapter right here. This is like a 3-page chapter. All right. So this is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, chapter 19 of Genesis. Remember, we learned yesterday, Abraham was pleading with God. God said, you're going to go and you're going to tell Sodom and Gomorrah that I'm going to wipe them out. If you can find 50 righteous men there, I won't do it. And Abraham said, well, why, God? That doesn't... Well, no, God said, I'm going to wipe them out. And Abraham said, that doesn't seem like you, God. A righteous God couldn't do something like that. You wouldn't wipe out a place. What if there's 50 righteous men there? You would wipe out those 50 righteous men? And God said, if you can find 50, I'll let them slide. And Abraham said, well, but what about 45? And God said, well, if you can find 45, I won't wipe them out. Abraham said, what about 40? What about 30? What about 25? I think he got all the way down to 20. He said, what if we only find 20 righteous men? God said, if you can find 20, I won't wipe them out. And so Abraham said, actually, Abraham lastly says 10. What if I find 10 righteous? What if I can only find 10 righteous men? Would you still wipe out Sodom and Gomorrah if there were 10 righteous men who lived there? And God said, if you can find 10 righteous men, I won't wipe them out. So now let's see what happens in chapter 19. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned into him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So Sodom's got angels in his house. He's serving them Lot has angels in his house. He's serving them a feast. Remember when Abraham and Lot split up? Lot went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and Abraham took the Canaanite land. Um, now Lot is living in Sodom and Gomorrah, or Sodom, and two angels come to visit him. He gives them a feast, and while he's in there, all the soldiers, young and old, all these men gather around the house with pickets, or with pitchforks. They gather around from every quarter, and they called unto Lot and said to him, "Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out to us that we may know them." Now, when I covered Sodom and Gomorrah, because I did this on a show a long time ago, we looked up what the meaning of that is. And you know what it means when a man knows his wife. Now he will know her. He gets to know her when they consummate the wedding, they know their wife. Yeah, that's what they want to do to the angels. That's how bad Sodom and Gomorrah is. That two angels, they don't know they're angels, but two men who they think are men come to visit Lot. And all the men gather around the house and say, "Bring them out here so we can grape them." They want to grape the angels. Crazy. Crazy. Sodom and Gomorrah needs to burn. Let's go. Bring them out that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him and said, "I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes." As is good in your eyes. We focused on that when I covered this in the show. When you live in a godless world, people do as is good in their own eyes. They don't know right from wrong. This is the common debate about, can you ground morals without God? No, because if you don't have God, you do what is good in your own eyes. If you think it's good to grape men and grape daughters, why not? I mean, it feels good. So what if somebody gets harmed? It's funny how like atheists and stuff will bring up the no harm principle, or lawbritarians, and anarchists and atheists. They'll all bring up this no harm principle. As long as you don't hurt somebody, it's not a big deal. But what if I can justify it in my mind and say, well, those girls, what if they I'm not going to say that, but there's ways you could justify things in your mind and do what's good in your eyes. But it feels good for me. They might get pregnant and they might make more babies that we can make more soldiers. It's good for society. It might actually be good for them. We'll teach them at a young age so they can take evil and call it good, and good and call it evil, because they do what is good in their own eyes. And this is crazy. Now, non-Christians aren't going to understand this. And even Christians, especially women, are going to have a real tough time with this. That Lot would rather give his daughters, who are virgins, to these ruthless men than to let them have the angels. That's how righteous of a man Lot is. Now, it seems crazy, in modern times. And this is how we know the world has fallen today, because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to give. If two angels came to your house and you knew they were angels, and then some people showed up and said, "Hey, give us those angels. We want to take their booty." Would you say, "Take my daughters instead"? It sounds horrible. It seems horrible. But horrible times, horrible things happen. And Lot just doesn't want them to get at the angels. He places their glory above his daughters, which is crazy. I understand it's a tough thing to wrap your mind around. What's up, Elderline? I also think Abraham was with his family of 9, so he was really asking for him to find just one righteous person. That could be true. That could be true. Well, and that's what he found. But no, that couldn't be, because if they're counting Abraham and his 9 If they're counting their 9, then he finds Lot, that would be 10. And God said, if you find 10, I won't wipe it out. So then if that was the case, then God wouldn't wipe it out. So they're not counting those 9. So this is a crazy verse. This is Genesis 19:8. I don't know what you guys think about it, but that's the only way I can wrap my mind around it is to say that Lot put more he was glorified by the presence of the angels so much that he put their safety above the safety of his own daughters, which is crazy, I know. But behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only to these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. So they beat up Lot. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. So I'm guessing they were pushing on Lot, and the angels pulled Lot into the house and blinded the men who were outside. They smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. So now they can't find the door. They're trying to get into the house, and they're all blind. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. So the angel said, get your stuff together, Lot. We're about to wipe this city out. This place got to go. It's got to go. It's done for. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-laws. So his sons are like, what are you talking about? We're not going anywhere. Is this a joke? You think we're going to leave? We love it here. This place is great. I mean, we could just walk down the streets and just grape everybody. It's awesome here. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. So, escape, and he said, that's a lowercase h, so that's not God speaking. So this is Lot speaking to his wife and his daughters. Now, I thought it was just white. I'm forgetting this. I'm drawing a blank here. I haven't been back over this story in a long time, but what happens to his daughters? I'm sure we're about to find out, because his daughters don't end up coming with him, right? Escape to the mountains, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said to them, oh, not so, my lord. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow the city for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. He wiped out everything. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So I guess the daughters do go with him. Hold on, I think we're about to find out. Oh, the daughters are the ones who they grape him. Yeah. Okay. So Lot, his daughters, and his wife are fleeing Sodom. God says, go up to the mountains. Now, this is interesting. Lot questions God. He challenges God. He says, God, I can't go up to the mountains or I'm going to suffer and die. Can I go to that little city over there, Zoar? And God says, all right, you can go to Zoar. So he goes over to the little city instead. But God told him to go to the mountains, which is interesting. But he asked, and God obliged. Those daughters are the ones that got Lot, their father, drunk and had sex with him to preserve their lineage. Wow. Okay, so they did. So his daughters did survive. When we tell the story, or when the story is normally told, I think people forget about the daughters, or they try to. They want to they want to memory hole that part of the story about what happens with the daughters. But it's not just Lot and his wife who flee. It's Lot, his wife, and his daughters. His other daughters who married his sons-in-laws, they got wiped out. They got burnt to a crisp by the fire and brimstone. But his wife, Sarah, looks back. Or not, Lot's wife is not Sarah. Abraham's wife is Sarah. Lot's wife, I'm not sure if it mentioned her name. I'm sure it mentioned her name earlier in the begats. I just forget. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So people say, and I like this idea, that she looked back because she didn't really want to leave. She loved living in her sin in that sinful place. She loved the evil and the wickedness in Sodom. And she looked back instead of looking towards God, keeping her eye on God, following him along with nothing else. She looked back at the city kind of like out of sadness, or she wanted to have one last look, one last taste. That last taste is the one that'll get you. I don't think it mentions her name. Hey, dude, you look so much healthier. Good to see. No problem. Luke Shaw music. Is that Luca? Luke Shaw. Was your name Luke Shaw? Exactly. She longed for that disgusting sodomite city. Yeah. That's what happens when you question God. But see, so did God had to have known that he was going to ask, and he was going to end up going to Zoar instead of to the mountains. I don't know. That's a interesting thing to think about. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as a smoke of a furnace. So Sodom's burnt to the ground. Verse 29, and it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out to the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out to Zoar and dwelt in the mountain. So he did go to the mountain. Maybe the Zoar is on the base of the mountain or something. And here we go. And his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. There ain't no man that we can make babies with. God just wiped out all of Sodom. Now, I don't know why they can't just go to Zoar and find a man there. But for some reason, I'm a little confused, because it came to pass when they escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said, Oh, not so, my lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy which thou hast showed unto me, saving my life. I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape it thither. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live? So he asks, God says, go to the mountain. He says, no, I want to go to Zoar. It's a little city. Can I go to Zoar instead? I'm not going to make it in the mountain. But then he goes to, maybe it's because he saw the power of God and he saw Sodom get wiped out, because he ends up not going to Zoar. He ends up going to the mountain and staying in a cave instead because he's afraid to go to Zoar. So I'm trying to reason this out in my head because I don't believe there's contradictions in the Bible. And I also don't think that I need to go to some higher authority to figure things out. We can reason this out ourselves. I'm thinking, doesn't mean I'm right. It just means I'm trying to work it out. I'm thinking he wanted to go to Zoar to stay in the city instead of the mountains. But then once he saw Sodom get wiped off the face of the earth by fire and brimstone falling from the sky, and his wife got turned into a pillar of salt, he's like, maybe we should avoid the cities. Maybe let's do what God said. Let's go to the mountain and hide in a cave. I'm thinking that's what happened. But here's where the daughters get a little crazy. Okay, so the daughters want to continue the lineage. They want to breed. They want to go forth and be fruitful and multiply. And they're talking while their dad's asleep, and they're like, "What are we gonna do? He's got us in a cave now. We can't even go to Zoar because he's afraid that God's gonna wipe it off the face of the earth. So now we're hiding in a cave. How are we gonna make babies?" Ugh. Verse 32, come, let us make our father drink their wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Ugh. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. If you think that's not possible, I can tell you, it is. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. This is, see, this, should have left the daughters in Sodom. Lot, I don't know. Sorry, bud, but I mean, maybe that's why he was so willing, so quick to give them up to the men instead of the angels, because he's like, these girls are a mess. These girls are a mess. You guys can have them, just don't touch the angels. Should have left them in Sodom, Lot. But I guess, well, I mean, Lot's lineage doesn't. Do they become anything great? I don't think so. And Abraham's lineage does. There's no song about father Lot had many daughters, and real men make boys first. Had many daughters had father Lot. He got drunk one night, and he was raped. So let's just bring the fire and brimstone. That would be a song for Christian schools. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. Dun, dun, dun. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab, the same as the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger she also bare a son, and called his name Benami, the same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So now I'm not sure when this was written, but their lineages go on to make Moab and Ammon. So we'll Take note of those names, because I doubt anything good comes from those places. All right, chapter 20. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned with Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. So he keeps everywhere he goes, he's got to tell him that Sarah is his sister, because all these kings are just snatching up all the women. And God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. So Abraham keeps lying to these kings, saying, this is my sister. Then they take her, and then they sleep. I'm guessing they sleep with her. And then God tells them, hey, you're an adulterer. You get killed for that in these days. But Abimelech had not come near her. Okay, so Abimelech hadn't taken it yet. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister? And she, even she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said to him in a dream, yes, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. I withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. So God stopped Abimelech from sleeping with Sarah so that Abimelech wouldn't sin by sleeping with a married woman, which was probably crazy at the time. I'm sure every woman he grabbed up, he probably jumped right on it. But for some reason, he didn't do it with Sarah. And God told him in a dream, that's because I stopped you. I suffered you not to do that because I didn't want you to sin. Now, therefore, restore the man and his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die. So either do this or you're going to die. And all that are thine. You shall die, and all that are thine. You and everybody you know is going to die if you don't return her to her husband, because he's a prophet. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, what hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed, she is my sister, she is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. She is my sister, she's the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother? Is this metaphor meaning she's the daughter of God, or is this saying that she's a half sister, that they have the same father? You know, I think most Christians would jump straight to, well, that's metaphor saying that they share a father in God. But I'm going to keep it 100. I would not be surprised in this day and age if they were half siblings. People can get mad at that if you want, but there's not that many people, you know. I would have left my daughters in Sodom if I knew that was going to happen. Facts. Abraham was hilarious. No, LOL. The Bible says Abimelech hadn't touched her yet. I know, Seesaw. We got there. And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house that I said unto her, this is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, behold, my land is before thee. Dwell where it pleaseth thee. Actually, I want to look into this real quick. So this is Genesis 20:11. In the AI overview, they skip over verse 11 and they go straight to verse 12. That's crazy. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I'm sorry. It's verse 12. Okay, sorry. I thought they were purposefully obfuscating this. Abraham tells the Philistine that Sarah is his wife and half sister. So she is his half sister. That's what AI says. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not of my mother. So they are half siblings. So this is why when I hear debates and I hear atheists bring stuff like this up, and then I hear Christians dodge the question and deny it, it kind of annoys me. Because you can't lie about what the Bible says to win a debate. You need to acknowledge their claim, accept that it is in the Bible, and then you need to justify it, which can be done. Modern minds will have trouble with this, especially worldly people, but there is a justification to this, and it's very simple. There's not a lot of people post-flood. There wasn't a lot of people in Adam and Eve times. And even if the atheist believes in evolution, there's still going to be some of this to generate a culture, a population from the first of the species. It's going to happen. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So Sarah and Abraham are half brother and half sister. Don't let people deny and tell you otherwise. It was a thing back then, and it doesn't come until about Deuteronomy, I believe, is when God says no more of that. There's enough people now. Cut that out. And it doesn't mean that just because the law wasn't there yet, that it was moral. It was still immoral, but they didn't know the law yet. They hadn't been given the law. Between the fall and the law, a lot of messy stuff happens. Lots of messy stuff. Once the law comes and God says, "Hey, stop sleeping with your sister." Then now they know, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Most people don't want to face how dark the world had to be back then to get to where we are. Facts, exactly. Exactly. But I just don't like hearing Christians denying stuff like this. They'll deny that there's slavery commanded, not just accepted, commanded in the Bible. They'll deny that there's incest in the Bible. They'll deny that they'll deny all kinds of things in the Bible to win an argument. And it's like, no, sometimes you got to bite the bullet and you got to find ways to reason it out. What's up, Fredo? So yes, Father Abraham, which means we are all products of that. But every worldview requires that. Every worldview requires that there's a first man and a first woman, and that they made babies, and that they progenerated a whole population or a whole species, and cultures and nations and languages all had to come from an original source. Even if you believe in evolution and you're an atheist, you still have to believe that at some point, this mutation in genes caused a monkey to become a man and a monkey to become a woman who were capable of procreating. And in order for them to populate, there's going to be a little bit of incest in every worldview. If you go back far enough, it's always going to happen. So it's really a non-argument when they bring it up. They say there's incest in the Bible. Well, there's incest in evolution. This is definitely going to get a yellow dollar sign. this one. Okay, and it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house that I already read that. Okay, so he explains whenever we travel, we go into a new city, I say she's my sister. She says I'm her brother. Um, so that they don't kill me to take my wife. They still end up taking my wife, but at least they don't kill me. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee. Dwell where it pleaseth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. So he's not even going to refer to Abraham as her husband. He's calling him her brother. I think that's Abimelech kind of messing with her. I've given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is sorry. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes unto all that are with thee, and with all other thus was she reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Mm. So so he closed the wombs because Abimelech took Sarah, but then God healed his wives and let them give him children. They bear children. Chapter 21. And the Lord visited Sarah. This is when she's going to find out that Isaac is going to be born. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and she bare Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son, Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Who would have said that I was going to be able to breastfeed a child when I'm 100 years old? God did. God did. On your way to an interview, that's what's up. Good luck. Well, I don't believe in luck. I wish you well. You'll do good. You'll do good. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore, this little brat, wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Yeah, he's not going to be the heir anymore. We don't need that kid anymore. Get him out of here. Get your dang stepson out of here. Stepmama don't want dang Hagar's kid running around. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondswoman, and all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So Isaac's going to be your heir. Let Sarah send off that woman. Now you would say, well, here isn't God telling? And I've heard on JLP women say this. Well, Abraham listened to Sarah. Abraham listened to Sarah. No, Abraham listened to God, who told Abraham, okay, do what she says. She's right this time. But I'm glad you didn't just listen to her and you came to me first. I'm giving you permission to listen to her this one time. And also, of the son of the bondswoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. What? Well, how old is the child? He was mocking them earlier. When did Hagar and Abraham make that baby? It was before he was told Sarah would have a child. Kid's got to be like 10 years old by now. if he was able to mock them and laugh at them and piss off Sarah, he's got to be like 10 years old. And Hagar is running out of the water that Abraham gave her when they're wandering in the wilderness. And she leaves him under a bush. And she went and sat down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot, for she said, "Let me not see the death of the child." And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. That's kind of crazy because I listened to a murder interrogation of this woman who she was beating her. I'm gonna get this video is gonna definitely get the red dollar sign, but she was beating her child, and her child was not doing well, and she took the child and set it down behind a dumpster, and then she walked away to like the edge of the property and sat down by a fence and cried until the kid died. And then she went back and then she put it in the dumpster, and the cops ended up getting her. But it's wild that now that I'm reading this, it's very similar. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, "What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation." So luckily, this kid was saved from being left under a bush while mom walked away and cried while they died, which is not the way the other story ended. But God is going to save this kid because he's saying, "Look, calm down, woman. Go get your kid, pick him up. You'll be all right. I'm going to give him a nation." I don't know who that is. "For I will give him a great nation." And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his hosts, spake unto Abraham, saying, "God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned." And Abraham said, "I will swear." And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this. I wot not who hath done this. He doesn't know who did it. Who hath done this thing? Neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. I didn't even know that this happened. I don't know who it was. That's what Abimelech is saying when Abraham says, "Why did these guys come and take my well?" And Abimelech is like, "I didn't even know about it." And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. Oh, this is the test of Abraham's faith in the next chapter. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, "What mean these 7 ewe of lambs, which thou hast set by themselves?" And he said, "For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well." Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistine land many days. I think sojourn just means to dwell or live. Past tense, past participle, to stay somewhere temporarily. Yeah, he just stayed there for a little while. He sojourned there. He stayed there. He dwelled there. He lived there for a little bit. A temporary stay. Okay. Chapter 22, this is the test of Abraham's faith. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee. So he says, Abraham, your son, you love your son, right? I want you to go sacrifice him as a burnt offering to me. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you, So I don't know if that implies that Abraham has so much faith in God that he knows that they're gonna both come back. Like, it seems like he's lying to them, because he doesn't tell Isaac what's happening. Right now, Isaac thinks they're gathering wood to sacrifice some pigeons or some ewes of lambs. Isaac doesn't know this wood is for you. He's cutting wood for his own burnt offering. And Abraham tells his other son, Stay here with the donkeys, and we'll be back. So he's either lying to comfort them or to not let them know what's about to happen, or Abraham truly believes that God's not going to make him go through with this. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Isaac's like, you got a torch, you got a knife. I'm holding the firewood. You put the firewood in my hand. I'm holding the firewood for you. What are we sacrificing, Dad? Like, we don't have a lamb. How are we going to do a sacrifice? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them together. That's a little prophecy for you. A little prophecy of Jesus. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them together. God will provide the lamb. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son. Now Isaac's starting to figure out something's wrong. Now Isaac's like, Dad, why are you tying me up right now? What's that? Is that a raid? What is that? It's just a symbol. It doesn't say anything. What does this mean? I don't know what that was. A thing popped up on my screen just now like we had a raid. Oh, it's Mike Ball. Good morning and afternoon, JSM family. What's up, Mike Ball? I've seen you on some streams before. I don't think I've ever talked to you. Did you just raid me? Because it looked like the raid symbol, but it didn't say. Okay, it is a raid. Cool. All right, we're reading about Abraham and Isaac. It's getting wild. It's getting wild. So Isaac is getting tied up now. He's starting to put 2 and 2 together. He's like, we got the wood, we got the torch, you got a knife. There's no lamb, and now you're tying me up. Why are you tying me up, Dad? What up, Sports Brand? Yeah, that was weird. Your logo popped up, and it, like, the white little thing at the top popped up, but it didn't say that there was a raid, so I didn't know what was going on. Catch us up. We read about Sodom and Gamorrah. we found out that Abraham and Sarah were actually half brother and half sister. We saw Abraham get raped by his two daughters in a cave. Um, and then they each made him a son, and that they went into the lands. They made the lands Ammon and Benami. No, wait. Moab and Ammon are the lineages or the nations of Lot's. Did I say Abraham? Sorry, I'm getting names mixed up. Lot got raped in the cave by his daughters, not Abraham. Now, Lot is Abraham's brother. Yesterday we read about how they separated and Lot went his own way to Sodom. Sodom got burnt to the ground because of all the nastiness that was there. A bunch of men were trying to grape some angels, and Lot said, "Take my daughters instead." And then the angels blinded all the soldiers. They fled the city. Lot, his wife, and his two daughters. His wife looked back. She got turned into a pillar of salt. They went into the mountains near Zoar in a cave, and the daughters were scared that they weren't going to be able to get a man to carry on the lineage, so they raped Lot while he was asleep after they got him drunk. And now we're back to, so that's that story. Now we're back to Abraham and Isaac. You're all caught up. So right now, Abraham and Isaac are going up to the mountain. They cut a bunch of wood. Isaac's holding the wood. Abraham's got the torch and the knife. Isaac's like, "Dad, where's the lamb?" And Abraham's like, "God will provide a lamb." A little prophecy of Jesus there in Genesis 22:8. Abraham said, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering." So they went both of them together. So now we're at verse 9. He starts tying up Isaac. Now Isaac's starting to figure it out. It was wild back in the day, yes. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bless John 15:13. I'll have to look that up at the end. America Uncensored, what's good? Jason Wild, what's up? Redneck Side, motorcycle whips. Never look back. Yep, we talked about that. How Sarah, I keep mixing up Abraham and Lot and Sarah and Lot's wife. I don't think they ever told us Lot's wife's name. She don't matter. She's a pillar of salt now. Hey, at least he had some seasoning for his meat for a long time. He was cooking good. You think he saved the salt? I would have. You can't let a good pillar of salt go to waste. And Abraham's okay, so he's tying up Isaac now. Isaac's like, "What?" And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. So Abraham's ready to go. Lot's tied up. He's bringing the knife down. And the angel of the Lord shows up and says, "Abraham, calm down, buddy. You did good. You did good. You don't actually have to kill Isaac." But we mentioned that in verse 5, he tells his other sons who are staying back with the donkeys, "We'll be back. We'll both be back." So I was wondering, was it that Abraham was lying to his other sons so that they didn't get worried that he was about to go sacrifice Isaac? Or did Abraham have so much faith in God that he knew that he wasn't going to have to kill Isaac? Because he tells his other sons, we're going to be back. But of course, he wouldn't want to tell them, "I'm coming back, but Isaac ain't coming back." He's not going to tell them that. So I don't know. We can't get inside his head. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." And he said, "Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me." Well, not really his only son, because Hagar had a son too. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. So God provided the lamb. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for the cause thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thine only son. Well, cold cut, yeah. My pages are sticking together. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, Huz his firstborn, and Booz his brother, Huz and Booz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazu, and Thildash, and Jilaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And if this is the same Rebekah that goes on to marry, I think we're going to find out. I'm not going to make assumptions, but and his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bare also Teba and Gaham and Tahash and Maacah. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And this is the first time that we're getting a begat or a lineage of a woman, is Sarah. Remember, up till now, and just for you guys that are just coming by, we do this Tuesday through Friday every morning. We read through Isaiah first, just because that's where I was at, where I was personally reading when I started doing these streams. So we finished Isaiah just because I wanted to finish Isaiah. But now we went back to the beginning and we started the beginning. So, and we're just going to go from beginning to end. It should take about a year at the pace I'm going. Not one step back. And so, anyway, so the point is, the reason I'm saying that is because we were reading, we read the lineage from Adam to Noah, then we read the lineage from Noah to Abraham and Lot, which is where we're at now. And this is the first time that we're given a woman's lineage. So Sarah's kind of important. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arba. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before the dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord. Thou art as a lowercase lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat me to Ephron, the son of Zohar. It's interesting. He wants to bury his wife out of his sight. He doesn't even want to look at the grave. I believe it's in Leviticus or Deuteronomy. The Israelites are actually told that if they even so much as touch a dead body, that they're cursed. And then in the New Testament it says, "Let the dead bury the dead," which I think speaks to a lot to the way that we do funerals. It doesn't seem biblical to me. It does, and we shouldn't be mourning the dead for months and months and months and months. I hear people that they're like my, and this is gonna sound heartless and unempathetic and cold. I always say you can't be empathetic or sympathetic without being pathetic. Um, but people still mourning their parents 5 years later, and it's like, come on, man. At some point, you got to let them go. You should actually rejoice if they knew God. But the way we do funerals, we like put them on a pedestal. We spend all this money on a coffin. We spend all this money on a grave site with a big altar built for it. Like um, we like glorify the dead, and you see a lot in the Bible that's like not the way it should be done. Um, you mourn for a short season. You mourn for a short season, but eventually you got to let the dead bury the dead. I don't know. I could be wrong about all that. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe there's something I'm forgetting that we'll find in here that gives us new funeral procedures, but I don't think that's the case. I think like there's tombs. Jesus was supposed to be buried with the poor, but he was given a tomb by John what's his name of Arimatheus? Was it Joseph Arimathea? I forget, but he ends up getting a nice rich person's tomb, which is prophesied in Isaiah. But he would have just died and been, you know, thrown in a what's it called where they burn the dead? The word that's used for hell. I always forget that word. It starts with a G. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. I'm getting distracted. Um. Okay. Ephron and son of Zahar. So he wants to bury her out of his sight, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of thy sons, of my people, give I it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou will give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it off me, and I will bury my dead there. So he doesn't even want it for free. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury, therefore, thy dead. He said, What's 400 shekels of silver between me and you? Like, it's not a big deal. You can have it. Bury your dead there. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth. So Abraham ends up paying him anyway. 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, was the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field that were in all the borders round about were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. Chapter 24. I think, let's see where we're going to stop at. I started earlier today, so I'm heckling the Goku lover. What are you, a Vegeta fan? What do you like, character? What do you like, a character arc? Meh. Nobody cares about Nobody cares about character progression. I'd rather just have a base dude from the beginning. You know, we glorify the people that go through struggle to get wise. We should glorify the people who are always wise. Goku was always based from a little kid. Vegeta had to become based. Anyway, what up, Chino? Sorry, what was I looking for? I don't think I'm gonna stop before. I want to stop before we get to. I just covered Jacob and Esau in a show the other day. I'm not gonna skip over it, but just wondering how far we're gonna get. We might get a little bit into Jacob and Esau today. I'm not sure. We'll just keep going. Chapter 24. And Abraham was old. He's old in a mug and well stricken in age. And the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. So I live among the Canaanites, but I don't want my daughter marrying none of these women. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? So she's saying, I can go back where we came from and find a woman for you, but she's not going to follow me out here. She doesn't want to. They're not going to want to come out here for a man they never met. She don't want to come to Canaan. And she said, can I take Isaac with me, and they can get married there, and then bring him back? And the servant said, I already read that. From whence thou camest. And Abraham said unto him, Beware, thou that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. I don't understand what that symbolizes, hand under the thigh. I'm actually going to look that up. It must mean something. Still breathing, can't complain. Hand under thigh, swearing. Bible. In the Bible, the act of placing one's hand under another person's thigh is a symbolical gesture of swearing an oath. Yeah, we figured that much out. The practice is known as the patriarchal oath. Nice. All right, guys, if you want to be patriarchs, this is what we do. Instead of having the woman bow, you know how those guys are always talking about they want their woman to bow. I think the bow is like an Eastern thing. Forget the bow. You need to have her put her hand under your thigh when she swears to you. Make her swear with her hand under your thigh. That's the patriarchal oath. In Genesis 24:2-9, Abraham has his servant Eliezer swear an oath by placing her hand under Abraham's thigh. Oath taker would be at the mercy of Abraham's descendants if they did not fulfill their end of the bargain. The oath also included an escape clause in that the servant would be free of the oath if the girl he found did not come with him. The girl he found? Oh, so this is a male servant. Well, that's a little more weird. I don't want a man putting his hand under my thigh to swear an oath to me. So it's a male servant. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this thy oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand Oh, yeah, it says his hand. Under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swear to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his hand, and he arose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me a good seed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. So he's hanging out at the watering hole where the women go to get the water so he can find a wife for Isaac. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. So when the women start coming up to get the water at the watering hole, you know, there's a time of the day where all the ladies show up, all the single ladies show up at the watering hole. They show up at the watering hole, and Eleazar, he says, all right, God, when all the ladies start showing up with their pitchers, I'm going to tell one of them, or I'm going to tell all of them, hey, I'm thirsty and my camels are thirsty. Can one of you give me some water? Even though I'm standing at the watering hole, can one of you give me some of your water? I want your water. And the one who comes up and gives us some water, that's who Isaac's going to marry. Bars. And it came to pass before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor. Okay, so again, I know it sounds weird, and I know a lot of Christians deny it, and they won't bite the bullet on this one. But Rebekah is Isaac's aunt or his niece, because it came to pass after these things, it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, she is also born unto thy brother Nahor. So Nahor is Abraham's brother. The wife of Nahor. Wait. Nahor's. Okay. So Abraham's brother, son, would be Isaac's uncle. No, Nahor would be Isaac's uncle. Bethuel would be Isaac's cousin. And Rebekah is Bethuel's daughter. So, what would your cousin's daughter be? Would that be like your second niece? Anyway, yeah, so yeah. It's a bullet that a lot of Christians won't bite, but Abraham and Sarah had the same father. They were half brother and half sister. And Isaac and Rebekah are actually like niece and nephew. Abraham's brother with her pitcher upon her shoulder, and the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin. Neither had any man known her, and she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, drink, my lord. And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had given him drink, she said, I will also draw water for thy camels also until they have done drinking. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well to draw water and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camel had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel of weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee. Is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. Nahor is Abraham's brother. And she said moreover unto him, We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped the Lord. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I, being in the way of the Lord, led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man. And behold, he stood by the camels at the well, and he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord, wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great. And he hath given him flocks and herds and silver and gold, and men servants and maid servants, and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, to take a wife unto my son. So they keep it in the family back in these days. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, The Lord before whom I walk will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred, and of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath. Then thou comest to my kindred, and if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear of my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, Lord God, my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way, which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink, and she say to me, Both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let the same be the woman whom the Lord hath appointed out of my master's son. We're just repeating the story again. They like to do this a lot in the Bible. They really want to drill the point home. Did someone say silver and gold? Silver and gold. The Department of Numismatics. I don't know what that means. So we're just repeating the story again. He's relaying the story that we just read to Nahor, Rebekah's father, or Bethuel. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the well, and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste, and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hands. We're just telling the whole story one more time. And I bowed down my head and worshipped the Lord, and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. My master's brother's daughter unto his son. So they're niece and nephew. And now, if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceedeth from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go. Let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother of precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away, that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah. So they're like, well, let us stay with her for 10 days. And Elizer's like, no, we got to go. I got places to be, things to do. And they're like, all right, well, let's ask Rebekah how she feels about it. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah, her sister. Because this family, this is what they'll do. They'll keep her for 10 days, and then she would have never ended up going out. It's a common thing. The parents want to hold you. They don't want to let their daughter go. They want to keep you in the house. So they're like, yeah, right now he's giving her earrings, he's giving her bracelets, he's telling her, he's weaving this awesome story about this rich guy, our brother Abraham, who lives out in the land of Canaan. And she's all excited and she wants to go, and he's in a hurry. He's like a salesman, a door-to-door salesman that's like, no, we got to always be closing ABCs. We got to close this deal right now. You don't have time to talk to your husband. You don't have time to talk to your daughter, Rebekah, about it. I got to go. Sign the dotted line. And they said, Rebekah, what are you going to do? And she said, I'm going. And they said, all right. And that's what happened. Numismatic refers to the study of money, coins, paper money, and tokens. Interesting. The Department of Numismatics. That's cool. Department of Numismatic. You got a lot of money? Send me some. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate him. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well, Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the candle. She jumped off the camel. It was love at first sight. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Thank you for not explaining it one more time. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So his mom died, but he got a wife. Nice. Nice. Do we want to get into... Do we want to get into the birthright today? What did I start at? 18. We're at 25 now. It's 11:30. I'm going to have to change the title and add Jacob and Esau to it. Yeah, we're going to get into Jacob and Esau. We'll go at least to see, if I start reading this, I kind of want to get through all of Jacob and Esau in one sitting. So if I start reading now, we got to go all the way to chapter 29. That's fine. That's fine. So we got 4 more chapters. We'll read 25 through 29. So I'll fix the title later. We're also going to cover Jacob and Esau today and the birthright and all that stuff. I did a whole show on this not too long ago. So this is pretty fresh in my mind. It was just like a couple months ago. I'm bad with time. It might have been 6 months ago. I don't know. Chapter 25. Then again, and this is where we're going to meet. their sons, Jacob and Esau, the twins, Israel and Edom, or yeah, Edom and Israel. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. So Abraham's 107 years old, getting married to another wife, and she bare him Zimron and Jokshan and Madon and Midian and Ishbak and Shua. And Joktan begat Sheba and Dadon, and the sons of Dadon were Ashurim and Letushim and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher, and Hanok and Abidah and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 100 years. 60 is 60, so he lived to be 175. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahairoi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth. So I guess Ishmael, he was mocking him, and he was sent away with Hagar, but then he ended up getting a nation. So I guess he comes back. Maybe after his father died, he came back to visit or something. Because Ishmael is Hagar and Abraham's son, the servant woman. My channel is about investing and collecting precious metals, FYI. Nice. That's cool. I'll have to check it out. Here, let me click on it real quick so I don't forget. Here, I'll go subscribe to it and check it out. Check. I don't want to turn. How do I get that off? I'll listen to it later. I'll check it out later. I just subscribed. I'm a brokey. I don't have any money to invest or gold and silver. I do have a whole bunch of Trump gold. I got like a whole bucket full of Trump gold, Trump coins, and gold Trump dollars. I got Trump gold. That's right. That's my investment. Okay, we're going to get some more lineages here of Ishmael. I know these parts are kind of slow and repetitive. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth and Kedar and Abalel and Midsam and Mishma and Duma and Masa, Hadar and Tema, Jetor, Naphish, and Kedema. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns and by their cattles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. So similar to Sarah, Rebekah is also barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. So just like Sarah, she miraculously conceived. And this is the message to anybody, nowadays, with all the garbage they put in the food and all the Vaselines that they jab up in us when we're babies. We're seeing a lot of infertility among women, and I think this is like a worldly thing that is it's almost being manufactured to be this way, but that's still the work of Satan. But I think the message for those women who like Bryson Gray has made a song about it because he was celibate for 12 years, he said, and then he got married to his wife, and he made a song about how they're going to make a bunch of babies. Well, later, and I'm only talking about this because he made it public and he talked about it on his channel. They went to the doctor, and the doctor said that his wife was infertile, and so he made like a slow song. It's a really sad song. He made a song about it dedicated to her. But anyway, this is like a common thing nowadays among young men. They get married, even if you find a virgin, you marry a virgin, then you find out she's infertile. It's becoming more and more common, which I think is part of the plan. I'm not going to get too deep into conspiracy theories right now, but if you watch my other stuff, you'll get a lot of that. This is the morning Bible study, though, so we try to steer clear of politics and conspiracy theories, but this is just philosophy, theology, and Bible. But oh no, you're cool. You didn't troll. You don't have to retract your messages either. You're all right. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is don't believe these doctors. Don't believe this nonsense. Focus on getting healthy, eat better foods, take care of your body, and seek. But that's second. That all comes secondary to the most important thing, which is seek God in his right way along with nothing else. If you and your wife do that, and then you do the secondary things like stop going to the doctor all the time. Stop being a hypochondriac. Everybody's a hypochondriac nowadays. Everybody's mentally ill. Everybody's, oh, my back hurts, my legs hurt, my arms hurt. Everybody's crying and whining and has to go to the doctor every week for a different thing. I got a headache. I need some ibuprofen. I got this. I got that. No. Get healthy. Eat healthy. Quit your bad habits. I'm not saying that all these women have bad habits, but it could be the food you're eating. It could be just not taking care of yourself. It could be all sorts of things. Regardless, that doesn't matter. All that matters is you seek God. And when you pray for a child, you don't do it out of selfishness. You pray for a child because you want a son to follow God, to serve God. And we're going to hear about this when Rebecca prays to God for a son, when Sarah prays to God for a son, they're not doing it out of selfishness. They're not doing it because, well, I just want to be a mama. I don't want to be a cat mom. I want to have children. When they pray for children, when the infertile woman prays for a child, she should not be praying out of selfishness because she wants a kid to raise. She should be praying because she wants to, and you shouldn't even really necessarily be praying for a child. You just pray that God will do his will with you. And if it's in his plan for you to bear a child, you can have a kid when you're 100. I know doctors and people say, well, that's dangerous. That's unhealthy. The kid's not going to have somebody to play catch with. Whatever. You can make a baby when you're 100, God willing. So look at Rebecca, look at Sarah in these days and ages where there's a lot more, seems to be more infertility. Anyway, once again, I digress. And Rebecca, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. So the children are wrestling in her belly. And this is where we're going to see the Edomites and the Israelites. Jacob is Israel. Esau is Edom. Jacob means cunning, or not cunning in a good way, but cunning like this, like the I won't say like the snake, but the word is the same word. Heel catcher. When this is where we get the term heel catcher. When Jacob is born, or Esau is born first, Jacob is holding on to Esau's heel. It's where we get the term heel catcher from. A heel catcher is a trickster, a deceiver, a swindler. And that's kind of what Jacob is, which is saying that's kind of what Israel is. And yeah. So anyway, but I love Israel. I love the Jews. Don't get me wrong. That's why you make sure you can have a baby before you go further. No, why would you do that? What are you gonna? You're gonna go to the doctor and get a fertility test? I just said stop going to the doctor all the time. Why do you need a doctor to tell you if you're fertile? You just seek God in His right way. You find the right person. You get married. You don't even question it. You don't even let that thought go through your head. Go to a fertility clinic. I've never been to a fertility clinic. I wouldn't want my woman to go to a fertility clinic. We're just going to keep trying until you make a baby. If it's not happening, guess what? Got to do it again. Here we go again. I'm not going to send you to the doctor so he can mess around and do whatever he does to you, and then he can tell you that you're infertile, and now you lose all hope because the doctor just spoke a lie into your mind. No, that's not what you do. You think I'm going to take my fiance to the fertility clinic to see if she's fertile? No. Why would I do that? And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Seems like Jacob and Esau didn't have a lot of free will in this situation. Seemed like God knew everything that was going to happen for the next forever generations while they were in her womb. They had no choice in the matter. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So God's already telling him, the younger one, he's going to end up being served by the older one, and he's going to come to rule all the nations. And the younger one, or the older one, is actually, and Rebecca's probably thinking, but wait, the firstborn gets the birthright. God's telling me the secondborn is going to get the birthright? Well, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't happen. Watch it happen. See if you could will it otherwise. See if you could will it otherwise, Rebecca, Jacob, Esau. See if you guys could will it otherwise. I bet you they can't. Let's find out. And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Esau literally translates to hairy boy. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, the heel catcher, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years when she bare them. So he was 60 years old when she gave birth. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. So this time of infertility, they got married when Isaac was 40. They had the twins, Jacob and Esau, when Isaac was 60. So they were trying for 20 years. You know how they knew she was infertile? She was barren? Because they tried for 20 years and she didn't make any babies. They didn't have to go to a fertility clinic to find out. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning. You find out really quick. if you're at it for 10 years and you haven't made a baby yet, you don't need a fertility clinic to figure that out. And then guess what? You can adopt. That's why more Christians adopt more than anybody else. We need people to adopt. I mean, Sarah and Abraham adopted Ishmael until they found out Isaac was coming. Then Sarah was like, get Ishmael out of here. Hagar and Ishmael, you're gone. But they adopted Ishmael. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. Esau is the alpha. Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Jacob's like hiding in the tent cooking while Esau's out there hunting. Esau's the rugged alpha male, the firstborn, supposed to be the heir, but God already said that's not going to happen. And as we know, we're not in control of anything. God is in control. What he says goes. There's no way you could will it otherwise. Even Jesus couldn't will it otherwise. Even Jesus said, "Not my will, your will be done." And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So Jacob's the mama's boy. Isaac is the alpha male. He's the daddy's, or Esau is the daddy's boy. He's the alpha male. Isaac loves Esau. Esau is a beast. Jacob is a mama's boy. He sits inside and cooks with his mom. So Rebekah loves Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and so he made some soup. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom, Edom, um, which probably means hungry. Esau's names are. Remember, God gives us a new name, so Esau becomes Edom. Edom translation. I should probably use the Strongs, huh? So Edom translates to red. Oh, okay. So he was born and he was red and hairy. So his name was Esau, which means hairy boy. And then when God gives him a new name, it's because he eats the red soup, but he's also red. So Edom just means red. Red or ruddy. Associated with Esau, the twin son of Isaac and Rebekah, who was born red all over. So he went from being called hairy boy to red boy. That's funny. I like soup. So Esau's hungry. He's been hunting all day. He comes home. He says, "Jacob, let me get some of that soup you're making over there. I know all you do is sit around and cook all day with mom. Beta, let me get some of that soup." Jacob, the swindler, the trickster, the heel catcher, what does he do? Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright. Sell me your birthright and I'll give you some soup. You're hungry? You want this soup? Sell me your birthright." Now, Esau or Edom is kind of dumb, right? He's a little dumb. He's the hunter. He's the brute. He's the guy. He's hairy. He's just out all day hunting and walking around in the wilderness. He's kind of dumb. So if you go back and watch my episode on Jacob and Esau, I explained the three potential reasons why he decides to eat the soup. I forget. It's either one, he didn't care about the birthright. Two, he was just an idiot, and he's just like, "I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat. Give it to me. I don't care." Or three, I forget what three was, but I talked about it in my show a while ago. Jacob says, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?" Okay, that's the third option. The third option is he's literally about to die and he's starving to death. And he's just like, "I don't care. Give me whatever. Just give me the soup. Take my birthright. I don't care. I need food now." So he's either deathly hungry or he's dumb as a box of rocks, or he just doesn't really care about his birthright, which is not a good thing. It's not good if he doesn't care about his birthright. And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Esau despised his birthright. He gave up his birthright, which God had already willed before they were ever born. So there's no other way it could have happened. And there was a famine in the land beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, "Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of." Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to stop at 25 because it's almost noon, and I started early today, so we got a good bit of reading in. But basically, and I've covered Esau and Jacob recently again, so we don't need to do it all today. But we got to the beginning of Jacob and Esau. That's not the end of the Jacob and Esau story. So kind of like, actually, we're kind of setting a theme here where I started reading about Noah's Ark, and then I finished the story the next day. I started reading um about Sodom and Gomorrah yesterday, and then today I finished the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Today I started reading about Jacob and Esau. Tomorrow we will finish the story of Jacob and Esau, which is quite a. We're going to read about Jacob and Esau for the next chunk here. Yeah, the Jacob and Esau story goes all the way into chapter 33. Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow we'll finish. We just got a little taste of Jacob and Esau today. But Jacob and Esau is a good chunk here. It goes from chapter 25 all the way to like chapter 34. So tomorrow we'll read all about Jacob and Esau. We'll learn about Jacob's ladder, the ladder that went up to heaven. We'll learn about Rebekah and Esau, or Rebekah and Jacob tricking Isaac and Esau while Isaac is on his deathbed. We'll learn about all of that tomorrow. And then, is tomorrow Friday? Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. And then Friday, and I haven't read this in a long time. I don't even remember this. Oh, we get into Joseph. There's a little bit about Rachel and Simeon and Levi, but those are short little stories. But we do the descendants of Esau on Friday. We get into Joseph and Jacob. Jacob goes, yeah, but mostly it's Joseph. Yep, Joseph. Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow finish Jacob and Esau, and it's a big chunk here. I'll try to get through all of Jacob and Esau tomorrow, and then Friday is Joseph. Friday we get started on Joseph. So that's the plan. That's the schedule. We're stopping at the beginning of chapter 26. Let me fix the title and find a place to redirect you guys to. These aren't long streams, these morning Bible study streams. After work, I go to the gym, and then I come home, eat some breakfast, walk my dog, and then sit down and do a little reading. And this is these streams are more for just me because, I like reading the Bible. And I figure if I'm going to be doing it anyway every morning, I might as well do it with you guys. Chapter 26. Or no, chapter 25. Yep. Okay. Tomorrow is Jacob and Esau. And let's see if there's anybody to raid. Anybody know anybody we can send a raid over to? But a little grifting before I leave. Super chats are appreciated. Cash App is $dreaded conservative. It's all appreciated. Going towards the new computer fund. I want to get a nice new computer, but I'm gonna save up, and it's a long-term goal to get a really good computer. by next Christmas. Hopefully before next Christmas, but at the latest next Christmas, I'm gonna be saving all year. But I also want to have money in my savings, so I want to be able to get like a nice computer by next Christmas. So that's where any donations go towards, is the computer fund, Cash App or Super Chats, but that's not really necessary. All I ask is that you guys hit it up with some Super Chats. I mean, I'm sorry, not Super Chat. With like, all I ask is that you hit the like button. I don't expect any donations. I just expect that you hit the like button. And maybe share it to a friend. Tell somebody. I'm going to send you over to Jim Bob. He's probably going to make fun of me because I don't know if he knows who I am, but it's like a 5-person raid. He's probably going to be like, oh, cool. I got raided by 5 people. But it is what it is. I'll send you over there. If he's still alive. Is he even still alive? Let me see. Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, we'll send you over there. He's got 315 people watching, so he's probably not even going to notice the raid. But say what up, and have a good day, guys. I will talk to you later. Peace. Freddie, you owe me $50. You're going to be muted in the Discord permanently until you pay. You can pay me back whenever you'd like. But hey, that's what's up. I got PC memory sims I'm not using. You can have them if you like, no charge. That's what's up. Hit me up on Discord. Let me put my Discord in the chat real quick. PC memory sims. But thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. What is a memory sim? Sims. PC memory sims. See, I'm not totally I'm pretty computer literate, but not super computer literate. I'll give you an invite to the Discord server, and then you can find me in there and message me or something. But PC RAM. Oh, RAM. Nice. Yeah, I want to go all out. I want 64 gigs of RAM. Sims are old tech RAM. No new PC uses them. Yeah, I've never heard of them. But anyway, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Freddie, you owe me $50. Send it on Cash App, or else you're muted in the Discord permanently until you pay me. And everybody else, God bless. Have a good one. We out. Say what up to Jim Bob. Peace. Yeah, DDR5. Yeah. I mean, Vajine's getting smarter.